From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the PrimeTime Capper, and it is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Ankles Live. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. It's almost the end of the week. It's Thursday today, and we got ourselves a full slate of a lot of sporting events, and we start off first with Thursday night football. We have the Cowboys heading to New Orleans tonight to go against the reeling Saints, but both of these teams are a bit on the losing side. The Cowboys dropping their last 3 out of 4, while the Saints have dropped 3 in a row. Cowboys still looking good though. They're still 7-4 on this. They're still 8-4 on the year. Pretty much that fast start that the Cowboys got out to, it's kind of catching up with them now. But I'm thinking to myself, you've had 10 days off since that point. I think that the Cowboys should be good money tonight. They got most of their offense returning tonight. If not all of their offense, starting offense returning tonight for tonight's game. At least their line is going to be together in full. And I think that the Cowboys want to go ahead. They got a sour taste in their mouth after what happened last week against a Raider team that a lot of people had them beating, but they wound up losing that game by 3 in overtime. Kind of on a bad call, but at the end of the day, I felt like the Raiders actually outplayed the Cowboys. The Cowboys did do a great job of playing keep up, but the Raiders really didn't want to lose that game at all. I know the Cowboys didn't either, but the Raiders really dug in to win that game, and that's why the outcome came the way it did. Now, the Saints, on the other hand, it's been a struggle. It's been real bad, but one thing we can say is they are playing against really good teams at this point as well, too. They're not playing against, they're not getting beat up by some lollipop teams. They're going against the Ravens of the world, all types of teams that are going to be in the playoffs. I looked at their last 4 games. The only exception on this list right now is Atlanta, I think. And even Atlanta's chasing a playoff spot at this point. But this team has dropped their last 4 games in a row. I said 3 in a row. It's actually been their last 4 in a row. And you know what? I really do think that at the end of this day, this team probably only has about maybe 2 more wins left in it for the rest of the season. I see they have the Jets, and I see they have a game with Miami. And I think they're going to struggle against Carolina and Atlanta here at the end of the season, but it is a divisional game. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But all in all, I like the Cowboys tonight. I think they take care of their business. The spread is getting bet up. I think it will end up at 7. And if you guys did watch NFL Bet Exchange, we gave you guys a full blow-by-blow of how we really feel about the game and everything. But for those who didn't catch it, that's why I'm over here, just glossing over it a little bit. But it should be a really good game tonight. And just understand this, the underdog has won the last 2 matchups in this game as well, too. So last time they played, the Cowboys were the underdog, and this was during the season where the Cowboys started off the season pretty bad. I think it was 1-8 to start that year off last year, and they pretty much came in there and they beat New Orleans that day, and they beat them pretty soundly as well, too. So let's see how it goes. It should be a really good game tonight. I think it's going to be better than advertised as well, too. But I think the Cowboys take care of their business in the end. They just have to be able to be out there on the field running those 15, 16, 17 play drives that result in touchdowns. So there it is. There it is. Now, let's go ahead and get into the Power 5 portion of championship week. And up first, we have Wake Forest and Pitt. Wake Forest and Pitt making their debut into the ACC Championship game. I've never seen these two actually make the game before, because you guys have to understand, Pitt is a late entry into the conference because they used to be a Big East team, and Wake Forest is come on, Wake Forest has always just been the fourth team in North Carolina, in my opinion. So in that area of Tobacco Road, you know what I mean? Because it's Wake Forest, North Carolina State, Duke, and North Carolina Chapel Hill. You got to understand they got like 3,500 colleges in North Carolina. So you have to specify what North Carolina it truly is, and it's Chapel Hill. So when I look at my notes for this championship week and everything like that, we have ourselves the ACC, and this is the first time in I think possibly a decade where you don't have a Clemson or a Florida State in this game. So, hey, it's a new day. That's all I can say. It's a new day in the ACC for now. All right, so I look at my notes, and from what I can see here, you have Wake Forest team that's 6-6 against the spread on the season, 10-2 straight up though for their record, and then they're even when it comes to over and unders. Now, as an underdog, they haven't been an underdog that much this year. They've been an underdog 3 times, and in those 3 contests, they went 1-2 against the spread and straight up, and then. As the underdog with the over and under, those games went under 2 out of 3 games. So in the ACC, they are 7-1 straight up, 5-3 against the spread, and even when it comes to the over and under. Now, Pitt, on the other hand, has been really good when it comes to betting this year. They're 9-3 against the spread. If you've been betting overs with them, you've got that. You cashed that ticket 8 out of their 12 games this year as well too. As a favorite, they're 10-2 straight up, and against the spread, once again, they are a 9-3 because it's 9-3 because literally they've been a favorite in every single one of their games this year, and that's I think the first time ever in Pitt history as well too. And this is a team that's not highly nationally ranked. They were never really considered this year as a top tier team, but they are considered a team to watch because they do have Pickett, who's seen as one of the top tier quarterbacks going into next year's draft. Now they are, like I said before, 7-1 straight up in the ACC, 6-2 against the spread, and just like Wake, they are even when it comes to the over and under. Now, when I look at the spread of this game and I look at how this game is lining up as well too, I truly do feel like this could be Wake Forest's day because Wake Forest has never been at this point. And I think that, it's good to see a good OG ACC team win. But I think when everybody gets down to it and really feels who they want to win the game, it's going to be Pitt. So when I look at the over-under in this spot, knowing that these teams score a lot of points, that could be a good bet right there as well too. But I really like the plus money here with Wake Forest. I think that they are able to get a big win here against Pitt, even though these two teams, when you look at it, you would favor Pitt a bit more, but we are on neutral ground. We are on neutral territory. And I think that this works out very well for Wake Forest because they're still playing in their home state because the game is in Charlotte. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward from there, and let's go ahead and get into the Big 12 Championship. And this one is going to be something that we haven't seen in a while either. Can't really remember the last time we had a Big 12 championship that did not involve Texas or Oklahoma. Baylor was a part of that game going against TCU, but actually, I don't even think they had a conference championship then, or I forgot. But the thing is, both those teams were pretty good going into that game, and what wound up happening was both of them wound up missing the Final Four that year. That was the year they let Ohio State in. So pretty much you already know as a Big 12 team, it's tough for you to get into this Final Four if somebody loses out. You know what I mean? But or if everybody wins out, it'll be tough for you then too. But they have Oklahoma State here this time around. Oklahoma State, I would say this, that Oklahoma State with a win and one loss coming from everybody but Georgia in the top 4, they would be able to get in. Not everybody needs to lose, but if one of them loses, they're definitely going into the top 4. That's like guaranteed because they won't get jumped by Notre Dame. Notre Dame hasn't played anybody, and the team that they did play this season was Cincinnati, and Cincinnati wiped the floor with them. So I would say this. I look at this game, and this is going to be probably the toughest game of the year for Oklahoma State because they're going against the Baylor team that has a big chip on their shoulder. But last time they did meet up, Oklahoma State won the game by 10, 24-14. And this time around, it's on neutral ground. So we're going to see exactly what Oklahoma State team shows up. Now, Baylor's 8-4 against the spread. They're even when it comes to the over and under. And then as an underdog, they're 3-1 against the spread and straight up. Also, when it comes to the over and unders, they've actually went under in 3 out of the 4 games. Now, in Big 12, straight up, they're 7-2 against the spread, 6-3, and they've went under in 5 out of the 9 games that they played in the conference. Now, Oklahoma State, 9-3 against the spread, they've went under in 7 out of their 12 games this year. And then when it comes to being a favorite, they've been a favorite 9 times a winner. So they're 9-0 as the favorite this year. And then they're 6-3 against the spread as a favorite. And then also over and under as the fave, they're 4-4-1. So that pretty much means that they're even, but there's a push there as well too. So that's how life is as a favorite for Oklahoma State. And in conference, they're 8-1 against the spread and straight up. Very good. That means that they've taken care of their business in all their games, but one of them. And that one game that they did not take care of their business in, they actually lost straight up. So that was the Kansas State game. So it's all good. And then you have the Big 12 over under, and that's going to be they've went under in 5 of the 9 games that they played. So Big 12 Championship, this should be good. I think that you got a 5.5 point spread to Oklahoma State. Makes a whole lot of sense. I think that this could be Oklahoma State's finest hour because I truly do feel one of these teams in the top 4 is losing this weekend. And I'll go ahead and, pretty much try to get you, and I'll give you guys the 2 games that you have to look at. It's going to be Michigan and the Cincinnati games, okay? Because like I keep saying, I think that, we just have to understand that Alabama's probably going to beat Georgia on Saturday, okay? Because I think that they don't want to go into the CFP without their little darling Alabama. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But there it is for the Big 12. Should be good. I'm kind of pushing to see Oklahoma State make it to the Final Four. I think that is well deserved for this team. They probably won't do much getting there, but it will be fun to see a Big 12 team not named Texas or Oklahoma actually make it into the national Final Four. So we have Michigan and Iowa. This, to me, is bigger than the game was last Saturday. Now, yes, you beat Ohio State. Good for you. But Ohio State, you knew if Ohio State faced off with Iowa, everybody would have the idea that, yeah, Ohio State should go ahead and easily win that game. But with Michigan, I don't get the same vibe. Michigan's the type of team that, with their coach, they've blown the big game. They've just gotten over the mountain called Ohio State. Now they're in their first championship game. And I remember Harbaugh's first NFC championship game. There was a lot of hype that went into the game to where the 49ers were supposed to win. They wound up losing in overtime. Iowa is a lot like that Giants team. They got a veteran quarterback. They got a great defense as well, too. And then they got a great running game for that as well. Now, I know Michigan did pretty good against the elite running backs of Ohio State last week, but we're not playing in the snow anymore, and it's not a 19% wind chill. This game is going to be played in Indianapolis in a domed situation, and I truly do think that 10.5 is way too many points to be given Michigan. I understand the love fest from what happened last Saturday, but this is a brand new game, and I was not coming to just show up to be a participant. I was coming up here to shake the apple cart, and I felt like they had the best defense in the conference. I'm going to call it out right now. This is going to be a big, big dog for me over the weekend. I like Iowa to actually win this game, to be honest with you. I'm loving the plus 10.5. That's great right there. But then you get a plus 450, I think, or 425. That is really good, especially for a team that has won 3 out of the 4 games they've been an underdog in. So why not? You know what I mean? But this is going to be a good game. You guys will see my group tomorrow because I'm going to have 2 different sides for it, for the mid-major and the Power 5. But all in all, this looks like this could be the monster upset that Oklahoma and South Bend fans are looking for. You know what I mean? I mean, Oklahoma State. Let me not get it twisted. Stillwater people. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But this should be another really good game, and we'll go from there. All right. So we have Utah and Oregon. They're playing the Friday night game for the Pacific 12 Championship. And I miss the old days of the Pac-12 where they used to not have they actually didn't have a conference championship game. It used to just be whoever won out at the end of the year with the tiebreakers and stuff like that. Or if you won just straight up, you were the champion of the Pac-12. I know that was something that I know for sure USC and UCLA really loved that. For especially I think 3 years in a row UCLA went to the Rose Bowl because they kept eking out that Pac-12, Pac-10 those years as well too. So, that's something that we all really do miss. But hey, you got to sign of the times. There's way more money in there's just way more money in bowl games. It's just that simple. So, I mean, in these championship games. So, you just got to go rock with it the way that it is. So pretty much you have 2 teams that are facing off for the second time in the last few weeks. And the first time around, in all reality, Utah absolutely wiped the floor with Oregon. Oregon was in the CFP at the moment. They were looking pretty good at the moment in the CFP. And what happened is that, everything kind of went to the wayside because they got blown away and then pretty much got put out the top 10 as well too. They wound up being 11. So Oregon, I think that was just that was just another slap in the face to the Pac-12. Oh, this is the best that you got to offer. Oh, they got smacked by a Utah team who was second to them in the conference, so we'll just knock them all the way out so they have no opportunity to get to a national championship game. Now, at the moment, Utah is coming in here as the best team in the conference, right? Because they got the win over Oregon. I don't think so. I think Oregon still has the better players. They just had an off night that night against Utah, and I think that this will be a way better game for Oregon, a team that absolutely crushed Utah last year when Utah was supposed to be the big bad thing of the conference last year in the Pac-12. But it didn't wind up like that. What happened is that, Oregon got themselves a really, really good win and went on from there. And I think they had a pretty good bowl game as well, too. So, this Oregon team is nothing to sleep on. And I think that they still hold the title of the best team in the conference. And when I look at my notes for this game, you have Oregon 5-7 against the spread, 6-6 when it comes to the over and under. As an underdog, they're 2-0, and they're going to be the underdog in this game. And when it comes to the over under, they're even. Now, against the Pac-12, they're 7-12 straight up, 5-4 against the spread, and they've went over in 5 out of the 9 games. Now, Utah, on the other hand, 5-7 against the spread. They've went over in 8 out of their 12 games this year, and as a favorite, they've been a favorite 11 times. They went ahead and they've been a favorite 11 times, and they've went ahead and they are 8-3 straight up as the favorite. Now, against the spread as the favorite, they're 4-7. And when it comes to the over-under, they have went over in 7 out of 11 games. So when you put that together, you say to yourself that this one should be a really, really, really fun game. And this one should wind up being one of those games that could be an instant classic as well, too. So don't put anything past this game at all, man. This is going to be big. This is going to be a real defining game to me as well too, because one of these teams isn't going to be coming back here for a while, because once USC and UCLA get this thing put together, they should start pulling up to the Pac-12 Championship yearly. So we'll see how this one sets up, but it should be a good night, to be honest with you. And I know they're going to enjoy it because it's going to be in Vegas. And, that's the big push right now. They couldn't wait to get to Vegas and do the actual games there and everything like that, games like this one. So it's going to be fun. I'm wondering when they're going to put it in SoFi, to be honest with you, though. Because I would have thought SoFi would have been the location for this year's game, but I know Vegas didn't have a crowd last year, so they'll be hosting the game, and I know that they'll probably be moving the game to different areas, probably back and forth to Vegas and LA, and maybe even get Phoenix involved in that as well too. They have a brand new stadium, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and it should be a really, really good game. So, we know that the game that's going to be the game that everybody's going to have their eyes on. And I don't know why they don't play this game in prime time, but this game is going to be like literally, like I already know people aren't even sleeping right now who are fan bases of this, because Georgia and Bama, boy, oh boy, I'm telling you, that one right there can be just so big of a shift if if we see a Bama upset. I know a Bama upset is very I know a Bama upset is very, very likely. And I know that Georgia is the type of team to really blow it against Alabama, right? So I truly do feel that what happens here is that we're going to wind up having ourselves another classic game between these two teams, just like the national championship a few years back. And I think what happens at the end of the day in this one is that Alabama just does what they always do, and they just get a downright great win over Georgia. Even though we know that Alabama, last time Alabama truly lost this game, it was Florida, and Florida absolutely Rick rolled them. You know what I mean? So I don't see that really happening again right now. You know what I mean? And I think that all in all, Alabama should be good money here. And I'm looking at the notes right now. It's crazy to me that Alabama has not been a dog at all this year. So they're 6-6 against the spread, 5-7 over and under, and against the SEC, they are 7-1 straight up, and against the spread, they are 3-5. And then when it comes to over under, they went under in 5 out of their 8 games with that high octane offense. Now, Georgia, on the other hand, they're 8-4 against the spread. They went under in 7 out of their 12 games. Surprising, because this team usually has it to where they go under more than they go well. Like say 10 out of the 12 games they will go under, but not this year. They're 11-0 straight up as a favorite, 7-4 against the spread. And then also they went under in 6 out of the 11 games they've been a favorite in. They're 8-0 straight up in the SEC this year. They are 5-3 against the spread, and then they have went under in 5 out of the 8 games that they played in the conference this year. So that's where we have it at for this one. I think that this game will wind up being a really, really good game, and will wind up being your game of the week as well, too. So there it is with Alabama and Georgia, and that's going to be the preview for our college football Power 5 championship games that are coming up, that are starting tomorrow with the Pac-12. So with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when I get back, we're going to go ahead and jump into the NBA Thursday night, and then we're going to go ahead and talk some tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing. With daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash. And move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we're back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And, man, let's go ahead and get into NBA Thursday night. We got ourselves a lot of games going on and everything like that. So, well, we got 5 games going on tonight and everything. So, pretty much, all right. All right. So here we are, Bulls and Knicks tonight. Should be a good one. And they're facing off for the 3rd time this season as well, too. So, they're getting their series over with early. Now, this game really does come down to who is kind of the hotter team at the moment. Now, the Bulls had a way better November than the Knicks. But the Knicks had a great game against the Nets the other night that they should have won, but they actually slipped up in the end and did not get that game. So actually to end the month, they were 3-3 in their last 6. So I'm thinking to myself, and really they were 4-4 in their last 8. So they were a real even squad throughout the whole month because they started off the month pretty bad with the 2-5 start. So it was much better at the end of that with the way that things wound up. So, they weren't even, but they still were right there where they needed to be. Now, the Bulls, on the other hand, their month was pretty good. They did drop their last 3 out of 5 though for the month, but they won their last 2 out of 3 to end the month. So you got to factor that part in as well too. But I think all in all tonight, you got the Knicks at home as a slight dog here. I love the Knicks as a slight dog in this spot. I'm taking them with the plus 110. Let's see how it goes, and we move forward from there, and we move on to the Bucks and the Raptors. The Bucks and the Raptors. This is going to be a good one tonight as well too, and that's not the Bucks and the Raptors. So let me go ahead and get back to me. Bucks and Raptors, you should be here. But all in all, Bucks and Raptors tonight. You have Giannis coming back into the fold tonight, trying to get himself a good win for his team after a big moment last night against the Hornets, where he did get the game-winning layup. So they came back from 18 down in the second half as well too in that game. So that was a good spot for the Bucks and everything like that. Winners of their 8th in a row as well too. So there's a lot of confidence going into tonight in Toronto because they're going against a team that's only won 3 home games this year as well. And they are absolutely struggling coming into this spot. The Raptors, it's just a few years ago, they were holding up a championship. Now they're just trying to hold on for dear life. They've dropped their last 4 out of 5, including 3 in a row. And 2 of those games were at home. So that's why I'm saying I think that the home woes continue. And I think the Bucks, I know that they're not highly favored tonight because they're coming off of a back-to-back, and they haven't been real good off of a back-to-back. But I truly do feel like they come into this one, they have themselves a good game tonight, and they can win this one by more than the 4.5 that they're giving out for this. And I know that they're going to get it up to 5 by the time we get to the tip. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. But I'm just giving you guys fair warning that the Raptors ain't that great at home, so that's why they're not getting played today. If they were better at home, I would have loved to have them as the dog of the day, but I just can't. I just can't make that bet. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So we move on, and that's Bucks and Raptors for you. So let's go ahead and jump into now. We're going to jump into the Thunder and the Grizzly. And the Thunder and the Grizzlies going at it. Thunder are a plus 333 tonight. Well, just pretty much a plus 335 tonight. And then you have the Grizzlies minus 450, 9.5 point spread to the Grizzlies tonight. And then you have a 212 and a half over and under. Now, Grizzlies, like I told everybody a few days back when I was going through my notes, that team was really back and forth the whole month. You know what I mean? Like they were really back and forth, and they were 7-7 by the time the month ended. But when you look at how they played the last few games, they did win their last two in a row. For the month. So, and that was coming off of a two game losing streak as well too. So the month was filled up with a lot of 2-game winning streaks. Then they would lose and win, and then a 3-game losing streak. So they were good, but they were just kind of even too at the same time. So they were really struggling against teams that don't even have 10 wins yet. So Memphis isn't the type of team where you can just say, I got to take them at the 9.5. But one thing, though, you can do with them is you can take the over-under. They've went over, it looks like, in their last 4 out of 5 games, to be exact. And I think that trend continues tonight against an OKC team that is getting their bearings together, because they had a much better month in November than they did to start the year off, because they actually had a run where they had won 4 games in a row. But after that, they wound up losing their last 1 out of 9. They lost their last 9 out of 10. So, yeah, it was one of those months for the Thunder where it seemed like they were turning the corner, but not so fast, though. But they're on the road tonight, and they tend to struggle a bit more on the road. I'm looking at their last few road games. They did pretty well last week against Milwaukee and Boston, because they caught them by surprise. But then, Atlanta they covered 3 in a row last time on the road. But they go back, played against Houston, and wound up losing to Houston by 13 the other night. So they come back around, and they played Houston last night and wound up losing to them by 4. So this team, all in all, actually in their last 11 games are 1-10. So it's rough in OKC. So I guess we'll see how it goes. But all in all, though, I do like the over 212 tonight. I think that's the golden play in this spot. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our next game. This game is going to be a game where a lot of people are just going to take one side and say, call it a day. And that's going to be it's going to be this game right here. It's going to be the Suns and the Pistons. So pretty much sorry about that wrong image right there. So we have the Pistons coming in here woeful, and they're on a West Coast trip right now as well too. So that's something that is working kind of against them a bit, because they're trying to be on the up and up and get back and get to being a team that's feasible in the NBA right now. But I don't know. The Pistons, though, just start scouting out who you're going to get in the draft next year, because that's how it's looking for me. The Pistons, though, they did cover 3 out of 4 until the Blazers game, where they got beat by 18. So they've actually lost their last 7 in a row. And if you keep count, they've lost their last 8 out of 9. So pretty much in the last 10, they've dropped the last 8. So this team we already knew they were going to struggle. Everybody knew that. Okay. And they come into tonight's game going against a team that's won 17 games in a row. So it looks like the Suns may be setting a record tonight, because I truly don't see the Pistons beating this team at all tonight. But anything is possible. And if there's any spot where everybody can get surprised, it's this one. So you got a lot of value tonight on the Pistons if you're feeling a little froggy. But I think that if you just keep things simple and know that the Pistons don't score much, the Pistons haven't even broke 100 in their last 3 games. So I'm going to go ahead and just be smart here and take the under 207.5 and go from there. All right, so Pistons at the Suns tonight in Phoenix. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out, and we move on from there. All right, so we have ourselves the final game in the group, and it's the final game of the night as well too. It's gonna be the Blazers and the Spurs, Both teams, going in different directions right now. You got a Spurs team that's just kind of is a slow starter, as I keep telling everybody. Like they're starting slow, but like that big win they got the other night against the win they got the other night against a very good Washington team. That was showing you that this team is going to be much better, but it might not be right now. But by the time we get to the second half of the season, the Spurs are going to be really, really in tune. Now, last month, they only won 4 games, okay? And they won the last 2 games of November, though. That was good because they had just snapped the 6-game losing streak at that point as well, too. So, pretty much this team is confident now, coming back into this one. And, I think tonight this can be something that works out well for the Spurs because they're confident. But I still think with the way the Blazers play at home, a team that is not lost yet at home either, because the Blazers have been absolutely, tremendous at home. And they lost 1 game this year at home. That was to Sacramento on opening night, and that's it. So other than that, they've been lights out at the crib, and they've been winning these games by double digits or better each and every one. The only close game that I saw at home, other than the loss, was them beating Indiana by 4. So that kind of gives you the idea, like, man, this could be another one of those Indiana spots. But I think the way that the Blazers are playing and the way that they got a sour taste in their mouth from their last game on the road. I think that they can't wait to get back into this one and have a big night tonight. So I like the Blazers. They're now at -5. I think that's a good sound bet for a team that's so good at home. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But we got the Blazers at the Spurs tonight. Should be a very, very good game. And I do look forward to it as well, too. So let's go ahead and move on to my favorite subject, talking tickets. And I know that's your favorite subject as well, too, because it has to do with the money. And let's go ahead and look at our first ticket of the day. It's going to be the CBB Primetime Pick 6. We got 6 teams going at it. We got 35 games going on in college, but I have 6. I have a pick 6 for you guys, and I'm going to do you guys the favor today. I'm going to go ahead and break out some conference bets list because I got the Horizon playing today, and I got some Pac-12 games going on today, and we have also the Big Sky going at it today as well too. So with the primetime pick 6, we got the 60-1. I got my boys from LIU, Long Island, Brooklyn, right on Bradford Stuyvesant, right across the street from Juniors. Yeah, let's get it. 10.5 on the boys from Brooklyn. Then we have Liberty at 5.5. They got a tough spot against Missouri today, but I think that they can still go ahead and win that game. Missouri is looking like a mid-major right now that plays in a Power 5. And then we have Charleston Southern money line, the plus 135. That should be some good money today as well too. They're in a very even spot. We'll see how that one goes, see how it shakes out. Then we got Lipscomb looking to just get a good cover against Belmont today. So we'll see how that one plays out. And then we have TCU going against Oral Roberts today. I like TCU with the 8.5. I think they take care of their business and win this game by 10 or better. And then we have the nightcap tonight. St. Mary's is pretty much into St. Mary's is sitting here in a very peculiar type of situation tonight. They're one of the last games of the night, and it looks like it's an even call between these two teams. So I think to myself that this one will wind up being St. Mary's, because St. Mary's looked really good in that tournament last week that they played in. All right, so we move on, and we have ourselves the Knicks tonight with the plus 110 on the NBA Super High Five that I have for you at 26-1. And then we have the 4.5 to the Bucks, minus 4.5, and the over 212 with the Thunder and the Grizzlies, the under 207.5 with the Pistons and the Suns. And then we have the -5 on the Blazers. As I always say, single what you like. NBA Super High Five, 26-1. And there it is. There it is. All right. So we finish up with the Thursday night football bets. And with the Thursday night football bets tonight, we're going to take the Cowboys with the -6.5. We're going to go over 23 in the first half. And then we're going to do the Cowboys first quarter. I know I'm overspending, but hey, you know what? Let's just cash a damn ticket. Single what you like. And that's what we're going to do there for the Thursday night football bets. So there it is with talking tickets. And yeah, we're pretty much on our way out right now. So I thank you guys very much for tuning in today. You guys are the absolute best. There is no me without you, as I always say. As you've got a hunch, bet a bunch. Always bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production,